How can a single rule adjustment change the tactics, champions, and the strengths of the game? And are these changes for the better? Over its nearly 130-year history, Rugby League has evolved through numerous rule adjustments, each capable of dramatically impacting the dynamics of the game. From altering the core mechanics of the game to refining interpretation of key rules, each modification has sparked debates about whether it's needed and whether it ultimately changes the game for the better. So, today, we're uncovering the top 5 rule changes that have revolutionized the NRL, so let's get right into it. Number 5. The NRL introduced a new rule in 2021 that allowed teams to score 2 points for a field goal kicked outside the 40-meter line, which was supposed to increase the game's excitement. But it has actually influenced the strategy and outcomes of some close games, and it's not as simple as you might think. 2-point field goals are not a new concept. Up until 1970, every field goal was worth 2 points. But after the 6 tackle rule was introduced, they were dropped because they were way too popular, and even exploited for easy points, as Eric Sims kicked 68 of them between 1968 and 70 alone. However, after the return, the 2-point field goal was a pretty rare occurrence, as only a handful were made. However, that handful of field goals had a significant impact on the outcome of some games in the ladder positions for some teams. For example, in 2023, in a game between the Eels and Panthers, Nathan Cleary sent an impressive 45-meter field goal, which just saved the Panthers 5 seconds from the end of the game, putting them 16-16 and giving them a second chance at a win. The change deepened the level of the game's strategy and tactics, as teams had to weigh up the risk and reward of attempting a long-range shot or trying to drive up the ball further. As influential as this change was, it's nowhere near the level of influence that the following rules had, which leads us on to number 4. Rugby League was born as a rebel sport, breaking away from rugby union in 1895 over a dispute about player payments. It soon developed its own identity, scrapping the scrums and reducing the number of players to 13, but one thing that remained the same was the unlimited tackle rule. This suited St. George just fine, as they were the undisputed kings of the game, winning an astonishing 11 premierships in a row from 1956 to 1966. They knew how to exploit the unlimited tackle rule to their advantage, playing a conservative and controlled style that frustrated their opponents and bored the fans though. Something had to give, and the NSW-RFL decided to introduce a radical rule change in the 1967 season, the 4-tackle rule. This was a game changer. It forced the teams to play more creatively and aggressively, creating more opportunities and excitement. It also leveled the playing field, giving the underdogs a chance to challenge the champions with higher tactics, instead of just brute force. The impact was immediate, as the Dragons' reign came to an end. As they lost their unbelievable record-setting streak of 11 premierships, the 4-tackle rule was a success, as it was soon adopted by other rugby league competitions around the world. But that's not the end of the story, and in 1971 the rule was tweaked again, increasing the number of tackles to 6. This was to balance the game between attack and defense, and to reduce the number of kicks and scrums. And the 6-tackle rule has remained in place ever since, with some minor modifications. It is now one of the defining features of rugby league, and one of the reasons why it's such a fast-paced sport to watch and play. Number 3. This rule forced tactics to fade and allowed players to go for the last-ditch attempts to save the match. This rule of skill was a game changer, saving teams and games up to the 80-minute mark. Originating from 1997, the 40-20 rule states that if a team kicks a ball from behind their 40-meter line and it bounces out of play inside the opposition's 20-meter zone, the kicking team gets the ball back with a fresh set of 6 tackles. You can probably imagine how revolutionary this rule was. It changed the dynamics of the game and added a new dimension to the skills and tactics. It gave teams a chance to turn the momentum of the game in their favor, especially when they were trailing or under pressure. It also made the game more entertaining and unpredictable for the fans, as they witnessed some spectacular and clever kicks that resulted in thrilling tries. In round 23 of 2021, Adam Reynolds kicked a 40-20 on their 5th tackle, which let Latrell Mitchell score a try and gave the Rabbitohs the advantage. Moments like these can have big impacts if it was in the final 5 minutes of a grand final, for example. And let's not forget the impact on the players. Suddenly, long-distance kicking precision became a more valuable skill. Teams were scrambling to master it, knowing that one perfect kick could turn the whole game on its head. This rule has revolutionized the way the players and coaches strategize last-ditch plays, and has put more of a spotlight on precision long-distance kicking. As big of a change as this is, it's still nowhere near the scale of the changes that these last two have brought on. Which leads us on to number 2. What if there was a rule in rugby league that can turn a draw into a thrilling victory or a heartbreaking defeat in a matter of seconds? A rule that can make or break a team's season or a fan's mood. And that rule is the golden point. Before 1996, at the end of matches where the scores were even, the game would be declared a draw, and replay matches would be planned if the draw happened in a final. This was shaken up though when the golden point was introduced in Australia in 1996 for finals matches, and then in 2003 for regular season games. Some of the most memorable moments in rugby league have happened in a golden point, like Jonathan Thurston's field goal in the 2015 Grand Final, or Matthew Bowen's intercept try in the 2005 State of Origin. But it has sparked a lot of debate and controversy among fans, players, coaches, and commentators who have different opinions on the fairness and effectiveness of the system. Some argue that the golden point is too reliant on luck and that does not reward the team that played better throughout the game. Others argue that the golden point is exciting and unpredictable, and encourages teams to play more aggressively and creatively. The golden point has been revolutionary for the NRL, as it has changed the way the game is played, watched, and how the matches are decided. It has created more drama, suspense, and emotion for everyone involved, and it has showcased the skill, courage, and resilience of players. Whether you love it or hate it, the golden point is probably here to stay, and will continue to shape the future of the NRL. Now, finally, for number 1. The absolute biggest, most influential change was in the scoring system. The NRL scoring system has undergone several changes through the years. But to see the full scope of this change, we need to trace it to the game's beginning when the two codes split. The scoring system was balanced completely differently, with a try worth 3 points, same as a penalty goal, and a field goal worth 4 points. The scoring system emphasized the importance of field goals over tries. It incentivized teams to attempt more field goals, altering the style of play towards long-range kicking rather than attempting to drive the ball further near the end of their sets. There were a couple changes in the next decades, with tries remaining worth 3 points, but penalty goals and field goals were both dropped to 2 points. The value of a try remained relatively low compared to penalty and field goals, which didn't really affect the dynamics of the game enough to make a difference. A big change happened in 1971 though, with field goals revised to 1 point. This change reduced the significance of field goals in scoring, shifting the focus of play towards tries and pushing the ball upfield further. Teams might have been less inclined to attempt field goals, leading to a more varied and dynamic style of play focused on tries, compared to the previous styles that people played with. Then, around 1983, the try was increased to 4 points. This alteration significantly enhanced the value of scoring a try, making it the most rewarding option in a game. It created a clear distinction between scoring a try and kicking either a penalty or drop goal, encouraging teams to prioritize attacking plays and try-scoring opportunities. This change likely contributed to a more exciting and entertaining style of play, with teams aiming to create and capitalize on try-scoring opportunities more. These changes have shifted the integral dynamics of the game over its nearly 130-year history, which earns it the number 1 spot by far, in my opinion. So, that's the top 5 most influential rule changes in the NRL. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new about the history of the NRL and rugby league in general. If you did, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel for more rugby league content like this. If you want to know why kicking tees are actually a crucial element for winning a match in the NRL, click on this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.